Words show, and I am Joseph, and welcome to Poetry on Twitch. So I ended up making a decision yesterday, and I'm going to be leaving my job, the job that I formerly, that I'm still working at it right now, but it's going to free up a lot more time. And from even the small moments I've had here on Twitch, which I've absolutely loved, I have been able to have wonderful times just writing poems with people all across the globe. And I want to do more of that and have conversations and learn more about what you guys are doing. I am, the Just Chatting channel is so interesting to me that the whole point of this area is to just have conversation. And I am a huge people person, and like I was telling my wife yesterday that like it is an overwhelming experience even when I'm just doing stuff on the walking mall and having a good time with it. So, but I'm here now, and I am going to pull out some work to do since I think we are, there's nobody here at the current moment. I really need to cut more paper this morning, which is going to be a pain in the butt. And I'll also have to work on improving this setup. It's been a good setup for 34 streams, which is great, but it needs to be a bit of a better setup. I do feel inspired by what Akira the Dawn has been doing, and how so much of his work is just focused on one thing. And while writers have to be careful, because the writing thing, you can't focus only on the writing thing. It's not possible, I think. I think that the nature of the business means that very few people can only be writers. So I'm comfortable doing something else, but my something else's were taking up so much time. And I realized that I don't want to be a part-time writer and a full-time something else. I want to be a full-time writer and a part-time something else. And so that's the switch I've made. What will happen? Will it work? That's what we're all here to kind of find out. But in the meantime, it's not about will it work. It's about editing this, and part of the problem with the job is that I haven't had time to do my commissions. So it's all about being able to edit and work on these very critical and supremely artistic commissions. Timing is important to me. I like the idea of really getting something done within a time frame that's appropriate. And this hasn't been happening for me. And it's just been because I've been busy doing 3 other things at the same time. So I'm going to start working on editing this poem. I see we had someone drop into our viewing, so if you want to start a conversation, you can go ahead and message something. I also can take requests for poetry. Skrungle beef fungus into a poem. It is a very nostalgic meal from my hometown. Skrungle beef fungus. That is something else. Wow. Alrighty. We're doing it. I don't know what skrungle beef fungus is. I will do my best. I can definitely incorporate skrungle beef fungus into a poem as a phrase. But if Alex 5K, thank you for tuning into the stream. Would you mind enlightening for me what skrungle beef fungus is? Otherwise, I will just take a whack at it. I might even Google it. I'm going to Google it. And I'm going to make sure that I get this absolutely right. Ah, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to get my typewriter camera on so Alex 5K can see me working on his poem. This time, the typewriter camera has not been cooperative as of late. There we go. I gotta center this. Oh, typos. And I think that'll center it, right? Of course. Thank you so much, Alex. Alex says you're amazing. I appreciate the warm regards. This poem is nearly done. I love writing about things that are very nostalgic for people. All right, your poem is complete, Alex 5K. And here it is. I'm gonna show it real quick and then I'm gonna read it to you. All right, back to the typewriter camera, not the laptop camera, I should say. Grounded is the name of the poem. The very aroma of home and its table, plenty with memories of mother's cooking, father's snoring, and sibling rivaling, To the table, the mystery mushroom majesty arrives. Skrungle beef fungus, creamy ooze of delight that brightens with every soothing bite. These round caps and cowbacks take us back to the herd of the heart. A childhood home, one spoonful at a time. And that is Grounded. Alex, I hope you enjoyed the poem. It sounds like that you did even when I was writing it. I'm really glad that you can see with the typewriter camera. I have to get my setup just improved a little bit so it's a little more visible, but this is good. Thank you. I am going to give you my email. And if you want the original for the poem, you can email me and I can send it over. So I will mail you this. I'll sign it and mail it to you. But this was a fun one to write. Skrungle beef fungus is just that's such a cool name. And believe it or not, now I want some. I'm actually a big mushroom guy myself. I love it. I didn't even know it was a thing. So not only did I get to write a poem about one of the best named dishes in the entirety of the menu of life, I also now have learned something new. So thank you so much, Alex5K, for tuning in. Thank you so much for the follow, for following the channel. If you like what you see, I do this for tips, and I mean I'm more than glad to do it for free. I'm starting this new thing on Twitch. So, but I have a Patreon. I have a whole bunch of stuff. So just feel free to send me an email or take a look on Google and you'll find my things there. And then the Cynical Chill also follow. Thank you so much for following the channel and tuning in. This is something that is still relatively new, and I love being present here on the internet with the community and everything. So, and we have been live. Wow, that's a lot for 12 minutes. Usually I spend a lot more time talking. Thank you so much, Cynical. It was, I'll call you Chill because I don't want to call you cynical. Thank you so much for the compliment on the poem. It was fun to write, and I'll take more topics. That's the great thing about this little morning stream that I've been doing. It's a good way for me to wake up and flex my muscles. I don't know what time frame it is where you're at, but this is still like 7 o'clock here in America, and the first thing I do is I roll out of bed, do some exercises, maybe some chores as part of my morning routine, and I get to writing. It's the first thing that I do during my day, and I love it. So, yeah, I think that I am going to take some time. I lost my pen in the shuffle for that one. Goodness gracious. I must have another pen somewhere. But I have a poem I want to edit. Oh, there's my pen right over there. I'm working on editing a poem here, which is a very personal poem for a friend of mine, involving references to Greece and Mykonos, references to Cards Against Humanity, and references to motivational, demotivational jokes that they share. And this poem is right, I think, on its last leg to be able for me to finally finish and editing it. So, and that's what I do when I don't have requests on here, is I just work on my own stuff. It's a good thing. And what I've been thinking is I need to set up like a streaming desk, like a central streaming desk where I can, if I decide to write at 3:00 p.m., I just flip a switch and Twitch turns on, and it's easy. I don't have that right now. Instead, I have to set a whole bunch of stuff up to do this. So when I do my other editing during the day, I don't actually set it up. I'm going to read this since you guys might not have heard this, obviously, because you haven't tuned into the channel yet. And I'm going to try to see when I read it what I'm thinking. It also needs a title. Our connection was the well-timed, shining face so smiling, always in the cards, so shuffled by quarantine, dealt with hilarity with ensuing vivacity of our depravity. The picture-perfect fill-in-the-blank of a jewel of the Cyclades. trading newfound, unfound PDAs in a place of waiting, to be waiting in the crystal waters of home. Unique feet sneaking so dirtily into the heart. But with things as they are, you may as well accept this best attempt at a motivational testimonial, Monday ceremonial shared through voicemail. You can just use your imagination to travel across the world in your head. Speak your own language as you trade islands in the mind of your green eyes. Manhattan for Mykonos. And wait for the day, and when the world will no longer hold us at bay, and we sail away together. It's perfect. I'm ready. Maybe, sometimes you just read something and you go, no, it's not ready. And then you sit for it for a day and you revisit it with a new eye and you say, oh, this is good. But it needs a title. It's the thing. And I've exhausted the references to Mykonos and Greece, it feels like, at least. I think that black-hearted cards. Ooh, I like that. That's sharp. That is sharp. Black-hearted cards. You're right. Senegal Chill, you are absolutely right. I have not thought about the Cards Against Humanity reference at all. Oh my goodness. So I may not choose black-hearted cards, but what I may choose is a basically one of the black card fill in the blank things. Oh goodness. So what I'm thinking is this is my idea, is that the title is or Shuffled Life. I like that too. I see that Alex 5K put it in. What I'm thinking is that I put something in quotes and it's like, during quarantine when we went on a date, we did blank or something like that. I don't know, like something like where it's like a fill in the blank, like a usual, like a Cards Against Humanity card. And that's kind of where my heart is going on it. But the fact is your both of your suggestions, which I like, but I don't think would be what I'm personally thinking for it. Both of your suggestions were extremely helpful to leading me to that. So I'm going to put this in and I'm going to type a title and I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to run with it. 90% of the time, titles are not my issue. It is fascinating that titles today are my issue. Shuffled Life, black-hearted cards. Let me think about it. Oh no. I didn't give myself enough room. Let me just The unfilled void. I like that too. Um, or something like filling in the blank. Let's see. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of the older drafts. I'm just gonna use it as I'm gonna write down a couple of titles, and we're gonna see which one looks best. So, my original idea, pandemic. Oh no! Oh crap! That's not what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so these are the two that I'm kind of left with. Just during pandemic, my heart was stolen. Ignore the stars. My heart was stolen by a blank. I think I like that one first because that one is so. That one is just so it looks like what somebody would have written on a Cards Against Humanity card. And you like the second one, filling in my blank, nice and short. I have not shied away from long titles, but you're right that the second one kind of does get to the point. I think I'm gonna go with number one. And the great thing about this is I do get to run it by him for a rough draft. So if he thinks that the title is too long or weird, he can absolutely reject it. My thinking is that he's going to be comfortable with the longer title. But I think that the Cards Against Humanity angle is something that I sat here literally the entire stream yesterday and didn't get it. Like I just didn't get it. And so this was so cool. I really want to thank you guys for being part of the stream today and for helping me work through this poem. So I am going to go and actually, you know what? I'm going to type up that final draft now, and I'll be able to do some margin shifting and fun things like that. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do that, and then I'll be ready to send him the actual poem. I need my paper first. So do either of you do streams yourselves? Do you guys play video games on here or do chatting, or are you more watchers? Let me know, and I do subscribe to followers back. I do have fun with some of the channels that I work with. That I just, that I watch and see. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Alex, for tuning in. Alex 5K. Well, that's great. I think that there's so many unique people to meet and see on this platform. All right, I gotta get this poem typed in. You get more typewriter ASMR is what I've heard it called. The sound of a machine clicking. This is a 1967 Brother Opus 888. It is and I collect these machines. They made like millions of these typewriters in the 60s. It's a really great portable typewriter. Just this thing, it just works. And let me get you that bell sound. There you go. There you go. The bell of the typewriter. And I love using these. And believe it or not, it's very easy to find and purchase typewriters, but it's just a great hobby to be into. And you can see I have another one back there, and I have like 7 over there. So yeah, I get a little crazy with them. All right. What I'm doing now is I do center my titles, so I'm counting out my letters. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 3, 4, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 32, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. And then I can center based off of the letters here. I got 2 and 7 here. So 3 and 6. So I need to move it over 2. Oh, let me get the typewriter camera back on. And move this over. I don't believe I actually had this positioned correctly before. There we go. That's a little better. And edits are always when I go back and I change a word or 2 or 5 or 20. Well, I think it's too general. I think that this girl is conniving, and I need to figure out how to spell conniving. I'm just gonna be so glad to get one of these commissions like progressing along. I have not had time to do this, and it bothers me. Ah! Since I used fill in the blank as a line in the poem. I'm going to take that line out and just do the picture perfect jewel, the Cyclades. Thank you so much, Alex 5K. I do appreciate the kind words. I just love creating poetry for people, and I love sharing that, and I love like working with people on it. So if you are, I don't know if either of you have ever written any poetry or write poetry on your own, but I love to I would love to take a look at your stuff, tell you how it looks, and things that I have learned in my work as a writer. And feel free to ask any questions, drop questions in the chat. I love to I love to talk about myself, but more so that I love to share and spread the joy of poetry. So as a street poet, so what I actually do when I'm not doing this is I do street poetry in my hometown, and I go out there with one of these typewriters and write for people on the spot, just like this. And I love bringing poetry into that space, into that moment, when people can share and people can ask for certain parts of their lives to be put on the page and to have fun with it. And that is just one of the best things about doing this. So if you have any questions about writing poetry, my thing is that poetry is meant to be shared, a wealth that's supposed to, that if it spreads and seeds the world, maybe we would all be in a better place right now. Back to writing. Oh, back to writing. Into the heart. Did I go to college for poetry? I did not go to college for poetry. And if I don't answer a question right away, it's because I'm in the zone. I studied philosophy in college. And what happened was philosophy, I liked actually studying philosophy. But the very, very hard language, the very academic language of philosophy books, people droning on for hundreds and hundreds of pages on the state of humanity in a way that is just paragraphs upon paragraphs, made me really interested in crafting something which was very relatable to people. So that's how I kind of got really into poetry. And if you look at my poems or hear my poems, you'll hear a lot of philosophy in them. And sometimes that's some basic stuff such as, family, the meaning of family love, for your poem, Alex 5K. Other times, it's something a lot deeper, like, what does, I wrote a poem about how for a bunch of people sitting drinking on the walking wall, and it was about how everything is conversation, and everything is like it was about good conversations with alcohol, but it was about how everything is really a conversation. Everything is a relation. Like while there, I believe in an objective truth. I'm getting into the weeds here. You and I only exist for, like we only know what we know from other things. Like, me as this person that has been here and, kind of talking to you. And we have Cynical Chill, Alex's story. And I read these back because so later on I post these on YouTube, and people sometimes don't get to hear these comments. Alex's story reminded me of a dish my mother used to make. I grew up in a small town in Norway, and if I'd hurt myself on the way to the store picking up groceries for my nana, she would make me a dish she would refer to as the Ushi bagel. It's usually a bagel with cream cheese and potato chunks. Oh, that's so nice. It was a bagel. It sounded a little strange, but I was told it was something she created, and it meant a lot to me. It always made me feel better. When I was young, my mother would always say, or I don't know if it was like my grandparents or one of the members of my family, I believe it was my mother, would always talk about how she always put love in the grilled cheese as like an ingredient. And I didn't get like the humor of that until later on, and but it was also really, really nice. Like, it made me feel warm whenever she made me a meal. And actually, when I was really young, I quite literally thought my grilled cheeses were materially different because she said that she baked it with love. Like, I thought that there was something that she put in there. The Ushi bagel. Well, after I finish typing this poem, Cynical Chill, unfortunately, I have to go to work, the one that I'm working on the thing right now. But if you want to tune in tomorrow morning, same time, I could write something for you in regards to Ushi Bagel or anything else that is really on your mind. I think that's a beautiful story. And that's what I live for with this, is thank you for sharing your story. Honestly, it's better than any money in the world, honestly, is to hear your story and to be able to just absorb that and have it be part of the world. And thank you for bringing me into your world. And that's one of the things that I always tell people, is that I don't write the poems. I mean, I write them, but like, what writes the poems are people's stories, people's lives, like yours, like Alex 5K's, like the person, the people that I met on the walking wall yesterday. So, okay. Speak your own language as you train. Mykonos. So I'm trying. Margins. Yeah, that's a little tight on the bottom there. But I think it really looks good with the rest of it. The title, I've definitely worked on my placement of words. As you can see, the poetry likes to wander down the page a bit, so with each draft I can improve my placement. Except the bottom part here, I might want to shorten this, because as you can see, I get cut off there. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for tuning in. This was really something, and if you like the conversation, the banter, my hope is that within the just chatting genre here on Twitch, is that we'll have more people come in, and then other people will watch other people requesting poems, and other people will watch me working on poems for them, just kind of like what happened here with Cynical Chill and you, Alex. I haven't ever actually had two people together at once yet, so this is a first, and it's a growing thing. I'm new, so it doesn't bother me at all. But the great thing is that that I saw the dynamic of how not only is there, and this never happens to me when I'm typing on the walking wall, is not only is someone, getting a poem that I'm working on writing for them, but someone else is observing that poem and also learning about their memories, and then they share their memories, and it's this big, wonderful place. And poetry unlocks those things. It unlocks the soul. And whatever I can do to help make people come together more through the internet, which is just a wild sentence. Like I said, that sentence, that people come together through the internet. That doesn't ever happen. Well, it does actually. It actually happens a lot here on Twitch, which is really why I like this platform. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. You all have a great day. And Cynical Chill, and maybe even Alex, I might see you tomorrow.